Hello, welcome to Everyday Experts. I am your host, Sir Joker, also known as the Overseer of Greatness on the Rob Fishbeck Network, also known as RFN. And today I have the privilege of having somebody who is very interesting, very deep, and very profound of a woman. She is a psychologist. She's an ABA psychologist, which we'll go into that and explain what an ABA psychologist is. She spends a lot of her time helping others, whether it be working with adults diagnosed with an intellectual disability or working with children in her school setting. She also spends a lot of time, enhancing her learning. She likes to ask questions. So I'm sure she's going to be one of the first guests to have as many questions from me as I have for her. She's a very good friend and somebody who we grew to be close out of nowhere. I saw her in one of my classes and I harassed her, not in a bad way, in a fun way. And she was like, why doesn't he leave me alone? Because that's not in my nature. I would like to introduce the wonderful, the exquisite, the elegant Miss Michelle Pierre. Oh, hey, boo. Hey, girl. Yes. Hey. So I have a quote that I found, which I think you can comment on.
Okay.
And tell me your thoughts on it. Everyone becomes psychotic in his or her own ways.
Okay.
That's it. What do you think about that? That's the quote. Everyone becomes psychotic in his or her own ways.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what their zhuzh is.
The zhuzh?
Your zhuzh, yeah. I like to make up words. Don't ask me what that means. It's your zhuzh, like a vibe.
Okay. Oh, I like vibes too. All right. So, are you ready, Miss Pierre?
Sure.
First question that I asked everyone. If you could be a vampire, a werewolf or wolf, a zombie, a ghost, or a serial killer, which would you pick and why?
It has to be one of those?
Has to be one of those.
I don't know. Maybe a vampire. Because you can live forever and they look pretty off of Twilight. And they glitter in the sun. And they can run fast and just beat the crap out of people.
I like it. I don't get a lot of vampires. What was the option that you would have wanted to add in there? Because you said it had to be one of those.
I want to be an X-Men.
Oh, you want to be an X-Men? Is there one in particular that you would like, or the powers you would like to have?
I want a bunch. So I like Storm.
I knew you were going to say that. I can see this is a Storm vibe.
Right. Let's see. What other powers would I want? I would like the power to read people's minds. But I would like it to be controlled where I don't go crazy.
Okay. So more like Xavier than Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Okay. Or like Emma Frost. I know she had telekinetic powers too.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Good answer. So you would be a vampire ex-woman. Got it.
Yeah, got it.
So, first question. What was your childhood like? What was it like growing up? What was little Michelle like?
Let's see. Was very outgoing. I liked to get into everything, did everything. We lived in Brooklyn, then moved out to Long Island when I was 6. We were always outdoors. I was always outdoors. I was always not as sporty growing up. I only got into sports like when I was like a little older. But I like to laugh, like to smile. Everyone has something nice to say about me. What else
Is that
about
what you
me?
is that what you make them tell you?
No, that's what I get told. I was told like when I was little, like my smile makes a rainbow appear.
Your smile makes a rainbow appear.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I don't think that's true. But that's what I was told.
I like that. You moved here from when you were 6. You moved here from
Brooklyn.
Oh, you moved here from Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where did you live in Brooklyn?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you ever go back and want to like dredge up those vibes or anything?
We drive by, but not like often. It's been years since I've been over there. But like when we do, I'm like, oh, this place looks familiar. And I'm like, oh wait, no, I know this place. And I'm like, oh wait, there's the Burger King. Yeah, I know this spot.
oh, so like East New York.
I don't know. I really don't remember.
Okay. Cool beans. So your smile makes a rainbow appear. That sounds pathetic.
I was little. I don't know. I really don't know. I was little. It was like some I don't know. Someone I was friends with parents said that to me. I was like, okay.
Does that resonate with you? Do you think well, how do you interpret that? How do you interpret that?
Well, I mean, it's a positive thing to say. I mean, I was little, so you know, adults say things to kids to make them smile. So
okay. So next question: what role? And I know you have I know you have a very good connection with your mom. I don't know necessarily your relationship with your dad, but I know you speak about your mom often. But what role did your parents play in, you becoming the diva you are?
they were both like involved. They basically let me speak my mind a lot, probably more than they wish. I guess it was too much. My dad, when I was little, used to call me radio because I wouldn't stop talking. Yeah, he used to call me radio. Like, you talk. But then he listens to Mike and Mike on ESPN, which they talk forever about nothing. Yeah. So I don't understand, but okay. So I they gave me room to speak my mind and also to like respect other people's like boundaries on things and, to be aware of certain things, they were involved.
Do you think your outspokenness has carried over was the English version, sorry, carried over to, present day?
Oh yeah. I still talk a lot. And no, I do. Well, I mean, like, I guess you have to know me to like know I talk a lot. Or like have specific topics to talk about that I'm like, I guess, interested in, or like want people to know other people's opinions about. I definitely use like my outgoingness in meetings and in other like situations and meeting people. I guess like when you first get to know me or just know me in general, like look from an outsider looking in, I'm more reserved. Yeah. But then if you really do know me, like, like I'm quite obnoxious. And I find the word obnoxious completely a compliment.
You like?
Yes. That's like better than saying I love you. Like.
Oh, so what's it about? So I'm going to ask you the question in 1 second, but when people tell me I'm silly and annoying, I feel like annoying is a compliment in the same way that you feel obnoxious is a compliment. But in what way?
Smile, like huge.
You said what?
When someone says you're like annoying, you like, ha!
I don't know what you're talking about. But how does obnoxious like resonate with you? What does it make you feel or think when people say you're obnoxious?
I'm doing my job. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, it makes me feel happy. Like it makes me feel like I'm different and not like in the box that everyone else fits in. So like I like being outside the box and change and new environments and situations. So I like not being the typical, outgoing. She's nice, she's sweet. Like when you really get to know her, like she's a handful.
You are a handful. That is definitely correct. But so when you speak about, how does that translate to you? So when you meet somebody else who speaks their mind, how does that resonate with you? Do you think you vibe with those people, or is it like, let me go into my analysis mode?
It depends on the person and what the topic is, and like what they bring to the table. Because most times, like if I'm meeting someone new, like I'm just like observant, and we'll just sit and just like watch and just be like, okay, like I'll interject into conversations, but like I don't know, I'm in a room with two obnoxious people. I don't know.
So, are either one of your parents obnoxious in the same way that you are, or a family member maybe?
No, I'm,
you're uniquely
I don't
you.
the odd sheep or like the black sheep, but like well, like everybody, all the women in my family are very outspoken. That's true.
Okay.
We all have an opinion about something, and depending on, again, who you are, we're gonna let you know, good, bad, or whatever. So like it's definitely the outspokenness and I guess opinionated part of it is just something that's in my family that we've all talk about and speak about and what have you. But as for like being obnoxious, probably not. Just me. Or like we all have different levels of obnoxiousness, I guess.
What do your parents do for a living?
My mom is an accountant. She works for this like construction company that like does parts to machines. And my dad is retired, but he was the third rail supervisor at MTA.
Oh, okay. Two very differing like collar jobs. Like one seems very get your hands dirty, blah blah blah, and then your mom seems like the structure. Is that sort of like the building blocks to your personality a little bit? Do you feel you're more your mom or more your dad, or like a mixture?
Probably a mixture. I mean, they both have like very good like foundations that they have that I guess I have interpreted in my life. They're both pretty much structured. They're much basically like we're gonna get the job done, and that's kind of like how I am. And like you're supposed to get the job done before you go on a break. Or most people be like, all right, when I get back from lunch, I'll get it done. Like we're kind of the type of people to like we're gonna get it done until we can't. Or unless like we're really hungry or something. But yeah, I guess they're both me. I mean, I am both of them.
So driven.
Yes, very. It's kind of annoying.
Why is it annoying?
Because it's like, sometimes like, you just want to like not be as focused, or at least I would like to be not as focused sometimes on certain things than I guess I am. So sometimes, you
like to just go with the flow a little bit more.
Sometimes.
But the majority of the time you feel like does your drive help you?
Yes.
What was one of your biggest goals when you were younger? When you were just a wee lass?
I don't know. One of my biggest goals? I don't know. I really don't know what my biggest goal when I was younger. I don't know.
Do you have one now, conversely? Do you have a 5-year, 10-year, 15-year plan?
See, I do, but then I don't, because I've learned not to plan things, because when I make a plan, I have to stick to it.
Okay.
So it's like hard for me to like make a plan, and if it doesn't happen in 5 years, then I get like upset with myself. So I'm trying not to make plans because, they tend to not go the route that I wanted to go. I mean, I guess like when I was little, I was wanting to be like a psychiatrist, psychologist. I thought I was going to be in a big mansion by 28 with a red lipstick Mercedes in the driveway. I ain't got none of that right now. Past 20 years, So, you know, trying not to set those type of goals anymore and just trying to go with the flow of things, like trying to count things within my control, but not all in my control.
So not as strict goals where you can kind of move in and out of them a little bit more.
Yes.
Well,
I think like
cool.
also like in society, we like get stuck that we have to have things accomplished by a certain time or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's just best to just, you know, not do that, not set those, whatever comes your way. Like, yeah, you can say like in the end of the week, you want all this stuff done, which is cool, but you know, don't stress yourself out if you don't make it.
Right.
You will eventually. That's what I've learned thus far.
So kind of stick to it. So I have a question. When did you kind of make this shift in paradigm or mantra or philosophy, whatever you want to call it?
I want to say like recently, like probably like 2 years.
Wow.
Recently.
Okay. Was there something that was the catalyst for that? Was it you were just tired of kind of being frustrated with yourself?
Yeah, a little bit of both. You know, I wasn't where I expected I thought myself was to be. And kind of, you know, just gotta nip that in the bud, you know, just gotta flow with things, and life is life. You get things that you expect and things that you don't. So like don't really have strong expectations on things that could necessarily deter or like cause you to be, I guess, I don't say too focused, but too just, I don't know.
Like too tunnel vision on just.
Yeah. Because then you miss out on other things.
Yeah. It's hard. A lot of people don't live their life because, you know, they're running the rat race, or they're, I have to do this, I have to do that. You know, and then they find out too late. So kind of moving into a little bit into your professional, you said you knew you wanted to be a psychologist from when you were younger.
Well, yeah. So like I was 12, was that 6th grade? I like sat down at the computer and was like, what do I want to do when I grow up? And like Googled and wrote down what I wanted. So like teacher was not on there. Accountant was not on there, you know, but like clinician was one, psychiatrist was one, a writer was one, an actress was one.
A what?
An actress.
Oh my God. You're not though? That's so your wheelhouse. Okay. That is your wheelhouse.
I mean, I've been told recently, like, I should, like, get into, like, cartoons because my voice and, like, how, like, I can make it go in different, I guess, volumes.
Yeah.
That could be a cartoon character or something, but, you know, I don't know anybody to do that. I mean, it would be great, but, you know. But I did that at, 12. And then I sat down and I kind of, like, mapped out, like, how much schooling it would take, how much money it would be, how much money I would make, because I was important at that time. Because I always thought, again, mansion, red lipstick, like, that's what I want. By 28, period. Don't know why 28, but 28. And then it was more like then I wanted to do psychiatry because I wanted to give children shots. I thought that was cool. I don't know why. I just thought it was. I don't have a explanation for it. I just thought it was cool. And then when I got to my undergrad and I kind of like knew, I guess, more involved schooling was and more biology classes you would have to take. And at that time I was taking more psychology and sociology classes. And I was like, I kind of like the natural science way of going. I can still work with kids, not give them a shot, but I can still work with them. And I really learn about the mind and like get into it that no one really gets into. So that's kind of where it went and still is.
Wow, that's awesome for 12. So you sat down and you did like a self-analysis, which is, how does it feel? I'm gonna go back to have you always been that introspective that you can sit down and kind of break down the data and say, oh, this is what Michelle should be doing?
I don't know. I was bored one day, sitting at the computer, not trying to play solitaire for the 18th time, and was like, let's Google what we want to be.
But
But I don't know. I guess it's always been there. I don't know. I like making lists of things. Like we're going on like I call myself, like, in my set of friends, like that itinerary coordinator, or like the activity coordinator. Like if we're going on vacation, we're going Monday through Friday. Monday we're doing this, Tuesday we're doing this, Thursday we're doing this, Friday we're doing this, Saturday. It's like it's all planned out. Like it's always on a paper listed. When me and a group of friends went to Miami, I planned that. Like the itinerary, what we're gonna do, what we're gonna wear.
You coordinate the outfits too?
Well, I didn't coordinate their outfits, but I told them, like, this is something that we should be dressy for. We wanted to be dressy. We wanted to put me by the beach, and this is what the day we're gonna do here. And I've always been that way, I guess. And making lists, I find lists help me prioritize what needs to be done, either daily, weekly, monthly, on vacations.
So you moved away from the goal setting, and then you structured your life around the list, sort of. Not your life, but you know what I mean. Like, or do you structure your life around lists?
No, I don't know. No. It's just like I said, whatever happens. Like if I know I'm going to the grocery store, I'm making a list. If I know like I have a bunch of things I gotta do at work, I'm making a list. I guess. Not perfectly. I don't know. I guess.
So, what was the craziest thing you ever made a list about?
I guess what I want to do for my life, because I don't think anybody sits down at 12 like,
nope,
this is what I want to do. So I guess that.
Did your mom have any kind? Oh, you're gonna say something? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Did your mom ever like kind of whisper in your ear, "You should be an accountant. You should be an actuary"? No. So they provided dad no influence on what you did?
No, they were pretty much like supportive and like what I wanted to do. And plus, like, okay, so when I was like a child, like my grandfather and my grandparents had this thing where like they nicknamed me the boss, and whatever I say and do is it. So there's no like switching it up. Once it is what it is, it is. So like it's always like, oh, Michelle is the boss. She is the boss. You have to listen to her. So that's just what it is. Like they were just, supportive in that, and they know like once my mind, especially like my parents, like they know once my mind is made up on something, like there's no changing it unless I change it and have a different perspective and I have learned a different experience and have gained more knowledge. But like they'll tell me like their feedback on what they think, but majority of the time, like if I'm locked in on it, like it's just, they'll support me.
That's awesome that they were supportive. So where'd you go to undergrad?
I went to Mercy College in Dobbs Ferry. It's upstate. It's in Westchester.
What was your major focus like thing?
Psychology.
Okay. Did you have an undergrad? Did you have any other classes that you liked, or were you like, this is what I'm doing, I know what I want to do?
Psychology, sociology.
Okay.
But it's all pretty much the same thing.
Same type of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Decided to do general psychology?
No. Well, back then you learn general psychology first. Like you learn the different areas in psychology. But my main focus is children.
Okay. Yeah. So developmental psychology, stuff like that, of that ilk?
Yeah, yes, I guess like developmental, more like, yeah. I just like the brain.
Oh, you like the brain? I said brain functioning. What intrigues you most about the brain?
I guess it's not the brain, but like what makes people do what they do.
Oh,
Like that I like.
this sounds
Like
a
it's
lot like behavior.
I mean it does, but
Yeah.
I don't
So
know, I like it.
you did ABA, right? Can you
Hmm.
explain for us people who don't know and aren't initiated, what's ABA?
So ABA is applied behavioral analysis. It is it's a behavioral science that basically helps anybody um, redirect or engage in a new behavior or stimuli in order to get the results you're looking for.
Okay. And I know you said you prefer working with children, but you also work with adults. How did you, and I know you said you liked working with the children and you like the children's psychology. When did you decide that, you wanted to work on your master's and all that stuff in ABA?
I pretty much, finished my bachelor's and was kind of like, there's more for me to do. And just went into my master's. It was just kind of just continuing what I learned from my bachelor's to my master's.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what um, started me in ABA was I got a job as a behavioral therapist back then with just my bachelor's, and was like got introduced to ABA that way, and then from there was like, oh, you can have your own like career, and this is you can use ABA in different ways of your life. It doesn't have to be with children or like in individuals with like autism or
Mm-hmm.
intellectual disabilities. Like it works in everything. So I kind of like took off from there, which was like 6 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that.
So clearly you seem to be attracted to the structure of things. Do you like
Yeah.
the structure and organization? And I want to say ABA is a little more structured and finite when it comes to behavior analysis than other fields.
I guess it depends on the person. Like I have been told like the way like I guess work is that I
Mm-hmm.
am pretty much structured. Um, I guess it just depends on the person because
Mm-hmm. So excellent, excellent, excellent. What's your dream job?
to be a clinical psychologist.
Okay, so now I have a question because I don't know. Would you get your psychological degree or your PhD in ABA, or would you get it in clinical psychology?
I would like to get it in clinical psychology.
Okay, so that's a goal we're working on, but not a goal because you don't like goals anymore.
I mean, it's not a goal because these student loans is tripping,
Right.
but one day over the rainbow, wherever that rainbow is.
Well, when you smile, rainbows appear. So I'm sure the
Like,
rainbows are there all the time.
I guess.
You guess. If I came to you for therapy, do you want to do individual therapy, or do you prefer working in groups? Do you prefer working in homes?
More individual,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to do individual therapy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you apply ABA to individual therapy?
I mean, it depends on what that person's goals or expectations are and what they're trying to
Mm-hmm.
meet. And then it goes from there as to what they're trying to fulfill for themselves or, I don't know. Like you can apply ABA and everything. Like if you wanted to start going to the gym, you can apply it that way. It's an awesome tool to have.
It's an interesting tool. We've discussed ABA before, though.
Mm-hmm.
And we're on differing sides of a common fence. But so what do you think a session would look like? So if I was to come in, and this is for people that don't know, if I came into a session with Dr. Michelle, what would that kind of look like? How would you get me comfortable? How would you help me out? Or how would you fix me if I'm broken?
I mean, I would clearly like pair with you, get to know you, understand you, talk to you on the level that you're most comfortable with. Talk about life, the day, what's going on, where we left off like the last time, if you're like a recurring client or if you're a new client, just asking questions, basically getting to know somebody, understanding what bothers them or what intrigues them or what doesn't, and figuring out from there, like from that, what is the angle of why you're here.
Okay. I know you work in a school setting, and we're going to go to that in 1 second, but I have a follow-up question. Being that we just, are coming out of the pandemic, and I use coming out of lightly loosely because we're kind of coming out and going back into the pandemic. What are some of the major mental health, psychological, behavioral issues that you're seeing just from your clients, from the people you work with?
They miss like the old life or how it was before the pandemic. They wish they can go back. I'm always asked questions when is this opening up? When is that opening up? From like my, students that are in schools who aren't in school, but they're remote, like the regression on things is it's bad. Things that like I've never seen, and I've worked with them for like 3 years, and I'm just like, I don't know the student anymore. So it's like now learning them again, and then having them understand that like what you know or knew is not necessarily the same.
So what was familiar is now gone.
Yeah, or is altered because of like where we are right now.
How does that, with somebody who is used to the way things were, as you said, when we're talking about somebody with like a personality disorder or OCD, we'll use OCD because OCD is pretty common. So first, can you explain to me what OCD is?
So OCD is someone who has obsessive compulsive disorder, someone who either completely repetitively says or does something. Either it could be touching a table multiple times, sitting down multiple times. I have a student who every single time he opens the door for me downstairs and we walk up the steps, every third step he has to walk back down and then walk back up and then walk back down and then walk back up, and it becomes like this whole like 20 minutes of just on the stairs. Like we haven't even sat down to go over academic work yet. So that's in a nutshell, what OCD is, or what it could look like in certain people. Yeah.
And how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that as a person? Because we talk a lot to therapists and all that stuff, but how do you process? How do you kind of like take the garbage that you get dealt with every day, people's feelings and emotions and all that stuff, and how do you let it go?
I like to read. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I watch a lot of Black comedians on YouTube. I watch cartoons. I'm a cartoon person, but I only watch 90s cartoons. Let's just make that very clear. Because I say cartoon, everyone's like, "Oh, do you watch it?" No, it's certain cartoons, not everything. Certain ones. Talk to friends. Hang out with friends. Talk to family. Basically, like go to sleep. Basically.
Yeah. Do you find that there are any cases or people that you struggle with just letting it go? Do you feel like you're okay with it? Most people?
Most clients are definitely still having a hard time, understanding what the pandemic is, and they have a hard time understanding the pandemic, but yet they do understand, but yet it's still not fair that they're still not able to do what they want to do.
Right.
So it's hard to get them off that track. And then sometimes I'm just like, did you get your hair done today? And it's like I have to switch the conversation because
Right.
it's always the same conversation.
Yeah. The repetitiveness, that's always enlightening and enthralling. So you work in a school setting. What is that? What do you do? Explain that to me.
So working in a school setting, I work with, children on the autism spectrum, bringing some ABA type skills into the school to help them throughout their day. Depending on the child, it could be the whole school day. So for some, it's just 2 hours, maybe an hour. Being in a specific class that they have a difficulty in focusing in, using different prompts, levels, visuals to get them to order to focus or to decrease a behavior that's happening, replacing that behavior with something else that's appropriate within that setting, especially in school. Yeah.
What's hardest about working in the school?
Hardest about working in a
What's the
school?
hardest part of dealing with what ages do you typically work with? Or is it all ages?
Well, in a school, you mean? Like the age?
Like right now in your job, what ages are you typically dealing with?
With all my jobs?
No, in the school.
Oh, I'm about to say. Okay, so in the school, they're mainly more preteen teenagers.
Okay.
So that's like 12 to the oldest I had recently was 21, and she had aged out.
Okay. And you said you have all your jobs, and I know you have more than one.
Yes,
so
I have 4.
We know one is working with kids in the school. What else do you do?
Hold on. I don't like this question because I never know myself. It's either 4 or 5, but it's all doing the same thing, just different agencies.
Different ages.
Yeah. Like in total, I've worked with from 3 to like 99.
Oh, wow.
In age group. But mainly for currently right now, like the age group for the students, at least for the kids, I've worked that preteen teenager range.
I personally prefer working with the preteens and the teenagers. I feel like they're what's the word? I don't want to say easiest. I feel like they're willing to do work.
You think so?
Not at preteen teen. I feel like they're willing to do the work. Where this is for me.
Okay.
Where I feel like they're willing to do more work than some adults. When you get into like the 23, 24, as they get older, the 40s, the 50s. Because, if I told you, your mom, okay, listen, you have to start cooking a totally different way, she would struggle with that because she's been cooking the same way for a long time. What do you say to that? Because I saw you shaking your head and you don't have to.
Well, I understand now from like that perspective of looking at from like a 12-year-old, 14-year-old to someone who might be 45.
Yeah.
Preferably, I like the little chicken McNuggets. I think they're great. I think they're awesome. I like getting down, crawling on the floor with them, getting to their level.
Like littler, like 3, 4?
Like 3, 4, yeah. Play-Doh, goo, fly. Let's make it glittery. Let's make it glow in the dark. I have all like 10,000 kits of that in my trunk of my car. Like, yeah, let's do that. Let's make beads. Let's make necklaces. Let's do that.
Oh, you like doing like the play therapy and all that stuff.
Well, it's not.
I know it's not play therapy, but
yeah.
I know it's very structured and with the reward. I know that. I know. So that's cool. So you like the 3s and the 4s and the 5s. What's the work like with a 3, 4, and 5-year-old, a 6-year-old?
You have to be very energetic. Like if you come in a mopey type of tude, like you kind of have to, depending on like what mood they're in, you kind of have to match their mood. So if they see you and they're happy, you got to be happy. You got to, be at that level of excitement that they're at. If they're running around, you got to run around too, and then you got to also let them know what boundaries are. And it's like, I like doing both. So it's like working with the little ones, and I come in, I'm a structured type person. Like, they're like, well, wait, hold on. She'll play with us, but wait, she wants us to do work first. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like that switch. And then it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And then once we like get into the groove of things, it's like, but depending on like the kid and stuff, like it takes a
Mm-hmm.
while to try to like pair to get to know them. And like a little kid's not gonna look at someone taller than like this and like, want to instantly play. So like you really gotta like, do a lot of like pairing and getting to know each other to really, fit well with that child and the parents too, because that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's really cool. Um, I'm not the biggest fan of the young kiddies. It's nothing against people with young kids or nothing against young kids. I just prefer the talking and the stuff like that. I'm more old school, I guess you can say. Um, but back to your fabulous jobs. We actually are co-workers at our full-time job in theory, even though we haven't like particularly worked together, work at the same agency. What different challenges does working at an agency like Free, where ABA is kind of the redheaded stepchild? Do you know what I mean? What
Yeah,
is that like?
it sucks. It's annoying. It was definitely like a heartbreaking in the beginning of like learning, that agency and stuff, because I felt like they're I don't like they don't understand like how much ABA is and how much it can benefit even like the individuals at that age in that group homes when they are 45 and 50 and 60. I did it the other day when one of them was having behavior, and I was like, well, hey, well, why don't we switch it up and do this instead? Um, I don't think they really realize how much you could utilize it and not see it as such like a redheaded,
Yeah, like
stepsister.
constricting.
Yeah, but I
So how
just,
can you change that? How do you think you can, and I know you're a woman of a big voice, and I'm not saying that in a negative way, a big voice, and like you said, outspoken. And where we work, the people that are over us, oversee us, aren't necessarily too attuned to changing ideals, changing the way they do things. So how do you work to make ABA more of a thing?
I mean, to the higher up, I just blink and just say, okay. But like when it's me and the individuals, like on that like one-to-one level, like I will slip ABA in. Yeah. If that's how I have to decrease the behavior, then that's what I'm gonna do.
Right.
If they want to call it something else, they're
Mm-hmm.
lying. But yeah. I have learned that you could bring a horse to water, but
Right.
that's it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And especially when you are, well, I'll ask you the question. Outspoken, black, female, West Indian, in an agency that's mostly where the people above us aren't that. How is, I don't want to say fit in because I know you don't really try to fit in. How does the enmeshment work for you?
For me, like I said, I just look and blink. That's it. When I have tried to voice my opinion, I've been told I'm too negative. So, I don't. I just hold it and just blink and say, okay, because what's the point?
Well, is it? It sounds like it's constructive criticism in reality, as opposed to negativity that you're putting out.
Yes, but if it's
That's not.
not, if it's not their idea and
Mm-hmm.
you're going against it, even if it's just a suggestion,
Mm-hmm.
recommendation, you're seen as, an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
And recently, do you mind if we talk about you changing positions real quick?
that's fine.
and recently you've changed positions. Was that part of the catalyst for you to say, all right, I'm tired of, just kind of screaming into the wind?
It was a deciding factor into changing. I'm not going to stay somewhere I'm not heard. Like, I'm too outspoken, too outgoing to be not utilized to my full capacity. So therefore, if you don't want me at my full capacity, then that's fine.
Right.
But you're not going to muzzle me.
Mm-hmm.
That's
not going to stifle you.
No.
Oh, I know. I got that vibe. So, as we kind of go into the last 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes, we have talked about a lot. So now, and it's awesome to have therapists on because, being a fellow therapist, you talk about it all the time. Why would you say someone should come to therapy? What would be, I don't want to say selling point, but why would you say it's important for people to reach out when they're struggling?
It's definitely important to reach out when you're struggling so that you have that outlet, you have that place and that spot that you can go to that's not judgmental, that's you're able to decompress what you've been thinking, what you've been feeling. Someone to talk to have you establish goals if you need goals, to make that structure if you're not a structure type person. It's important to, especially in the Black community, because we have a lot of things we hold and don't express and don't bring out as much as we should. So it's important from like that perspective to, talk to someone, make sure that you're checking in with yourself in order and having someone else help you check in with yourself in order to see where you're at. That's, more important, especially nowadays when there's a lot of things out there that's triggering. You want to make sure that you're still doing more self-care work. And I think that's important because I think people think mental health and they're like, oh, that person just has issue. You can go to see a counselor or a therapist, but you're doing that to increase your self-care and your self-worth. And then you're learning your self-value, which is important. And also probably learning boundaries too. Some people don't know how to set up boundaries and to make sure that other people aren't crossing it or letting people know how not to cross boundaries. So it's important to, have that setting where you can sit down with somebody to establish the things that you wish you could, in other settings in your life that you wish you could. And at least, I guess, I don't know. That's basically it.
No, that's a great answer. So I have a follow-up question. Being, from a West Indian family where obviously the hierarchy or whatever you want to call it is very valued and structured. And if I'm wrong, tell me. It's very structured and it's very important and it's in place. Do you think that I was speaking to one of my friends today and they told me that, they struggle with saying no because I take care of my grandmother and, my mom doesn't have time and my aunt and my uncle don't have time. So I do it out of a sense of duty, out of a sense of, it's kind of your responsibility. And this is going along with what you were saying with boundaries. How do you set that boundary when it's almost expected? And you know what I'm talking about. When it's almost expected that I do what I'm asked or, I take care of my grandma because that's what you need to do.
I don't know. It's hard to do that, to separate that. It definitely does start with saying no, even when it's hard and you don't want to. But again, you have to look at yourself and like your self-worth, your self-value. Is this something that, you internally makes you happy? Then sure, go ahead and do it. But if it's something that doesn't, it's something that causes you to either lose sleep, not sleep, not eat too much. Like there's, you have to find that common ground, and you
Yeah.
definitely do need to like reach out to other family members or to let them know like, hey, like I need help,
Yeah.
Something that, especially in the Black community, like we don't reach out when we need to. Like it was so funny, like I was talking to my best friend, I was like, when we're like in a bind, we need like a code, so like we both know when to like help each other out and when to be like, okay, this is what we need to do, how can I help you? So we haven't figured that out yet, because we kind of like just we were talking about it, and then like, you talk with your friends, you move from one topic to the next, so we kind of like forgot about it. But eventually we will have a code so that we know, and that's again important.
Yeah. So I'll ask you a question that I asked one of my other guests because I think it's important, especially as a Black female. You're someone my daughter should look up to, somebody my daughter should recognize as a role model. What do you say to that?
I don't know. I don't see myself as a role model.
Pourquoi?
I never know. I'm not there yet.
Are you sure? Because to push back a little bit, you work with kids all day. Were you role modeling? When you know how it is when you're working in the school.
Yeah.
You're role modeling. They're watching everything you do, what you eat, breathe, drink. Did you take 2 steps? Oh, what are you wearing? You're being broken down every day and dissected. And you've been doing it for a while. So I think you might, inadvertently bring a lot of modeling, role modeling to the classroom, to the house that you work in, to the field, to the office, whatever you're doing.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I've never really saw myself as like a role model. So it's something, I guess, to sit in a little bit.
Who did you look up to when you were younger?
So I always had like family people to look up to, and then like celebrity people to look up to, because I feel like those are 2 different type of people to look up to. So I always had like my grandmother and my mother are like the main women in my family that I always looked up to, and like always, I guess they model for me, how to act in certain places, in certain situations.
Right.
And then like I guess my celebrity role models, like Obama, and as a little kid was Oprah. Because like, what kid doesn't like Oprah?
Obama, Michelle, or Barack, or both?
Probably Michelle. Honestly, if I had like a celebrity like sleepover, and it was like women, like celebrity sleepover, like celebrities who like I could like look up to and like would want to like pick their brains.
So what 5 people would you invite to like a celebrity sleepover / dinner?
It would be Michelle Obama, Beyonce, Kelly Rowland, Queen Latifah, maybe Missy Elliott. Oh.
Interesting. Very diverse.
Yeah.
How did you come to Kelly Rowland? And it's not a knock against Kelly Rowland, but how did you come to Kelly Rowland?
I feel like Kelly Rowland low-key has a lot to bring to the table that she doesn't necessarily show. And I like the underlining of it, because I feel like she's very knowledgeable in a lot of areas that she doesn't necessarily, that she doesn't show.
Yeah.
And I feel like to pick her brain on certain things would be cool.
Yeah, I think it's a lot too, because obviously when they were Destiny's Child, Beyonce and them, Destiny's Child, she
don't get caught up, because that beehive is different.
I'm not getting caught up, because it was Beyonce and it was Kelly. And I'm talking about when they were first Destiny's Child. When it was Latavia and Latoya, and I don't know the other young lady's name, but you have the 5 of them, and it was Michelle and Beyonce. I'm sorry, Beyonce and Kelly were doing the vocals. Then they were laying the background track, and the other ones were just there, like kind of lip singing and dancing. So Kelly probably has a lot to say about working with Beyonce.
Yeah. I don't know. She has a lot. I feel like there's a lot that she doesn't, and a lot of people don't know. Yeah. So.
What's your favorite book? And a book you're currently reading?
Oh, it's not a book I'm currently reading, no.
No. Your favorite book and a book you're currently reading.
Okay. So my favorite book of all times is Holes.
Holes. Oh, I've heard of that.
And it's one of my favorite books. I don't know why. It just is.
Okay.
I liked the book before I saw the movie, and then the movie just confirmed the book for me. Book that I'm reading now. I'm not reading anything right now. I kind of finished everything.
Okay.
I did read your poem book.
The new one you are involved in, or Heir to the Throne?
Both.
Okay.
Well, no, I didn't finish the current one.
You haven't finished Love and Poetry?
No, not yet.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's
okay.
Cool. That's cool. Who's your favorite comedian, since you mentioned Black comedians on YouTube?
I like Kev on Stage now, and that Chick Angel and Tony Baker and that crew.
Okay. That sounds fun.
Yeah, they're cool.
If you were going to be a voiceover actor for a 90s cartoon, what 90s cartoon would you want to voice over?
Oh, man. Can I pick more than one show?
Of course you can.
Okay, good. Okay, so it'd be the Rugrats first. Then it would be Rocket Power.
And then what?
Rocket Power?
I don't know Rocket Power. I've never even heard of it. I've never heard of Rocket Power.
Then Cat Dog. I'm gonna move on.
Okay.
What else? Did I say Rugrats?
Yep. First one you said.
Did I say Hey Arnold? Hey
no.
Arnold. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, Rugrats, Rocket Power, Hey Arnold. Now, if you were going to have a movie that you could play in, your starring role, what kind of movie would it be, and who would you want to be your co-star, male or female?
I want it to be like an X-Men Powers.
All about the X-Men. I love it.
Yeah, like it would have to be something with like powers. Yeah, but I don't know who would play. I don't know. Morris Chestnut would have to be in it though. Beautiful.
Oh, she said the man is beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. You ever watch him salsa dance? Is yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. It's great. Find it on YouTube.
Salsa dance. I got you. I'll look it up right away. We often see things we don't like about ourselves and other people. What's something you saw in somebody else that you were kind of like, ooh, and it caused you to change? This is always a hard question for people.
I don't know.
You just gonna give up on the question?
I don't know what I saw in somebody else. I mean, I had, I guess, past supervisors who would do things just for the attention, or who would do things that would, I guess, promote them. So I knew not to do that. If you're not going to do it just because you want to do it, then there's no need to do it. Like, you shouldn't be looking for some type of like, oh, good job, Kelly, you did a great job, or, you know, way to go. Like, if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. If like, I don't know. I feel like that's just being fake. Like, if you generally don't, I don't know. That's just, it hurts my soul because she's not nice.
I like it. Look at you dropping knowledge. So, I guess this is going to be one of the last questions. Now, do you consider yourself a feminist?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, and I'm not judging it anyway.
Yeah. I believe women should have equal pay, and that's another topic and situation that is like what did I read recently that it was Taraji P. Henson is like one of the highest paying Black actors on one on a, I don't know if it was a network or it was something I read, and I'm like, for how much she got, I'm like, we still got a lot to go.
A whole lot.
Yeah. You know, I definitely do think things need to be equal. I mean, it's just yet, you know.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, look at you, Miss Michelle Pierre. I appreciate you coming on Everyday Experts.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Of course. And there will be a part 2.
Yay. Can we make it a mukbang? That'd be cool.
Yes, you said you wanted to do that. We'll set it up. We'll have to set up a mukbang.
Sushi.
You said what?
Sushi.
You can eat sushi. I don't do squishy food. I have an aversion to like squishy and soft textures.
Same. I don't like mushy, but sushi is cool though. I don't know why.
Like I can't eat calamari, even if it's like crispy. I can't eat it.
Okay, no, that's different.
It's very squishy. I'm saying calamari is an example of, it's crispy, and
But it's not
a fan of it.
It's not squishy. It's not.
What's not squishy?
Calamari.
Yes, it is.
Calamari.
Now, like I said, the time I had it, it was squishy, and that's
so
why
you literally just had the octopus, is what you're saying. You just felt the swirl all the way down. Okay.
I can't. Now, I normally do a poem. Oh, King Sports House said, "Bring that back up, please, Matt." She loves compliments. Your hair looks amazing. Do you see it?
Yeah, thank you. Do you see the crown? Do you see it? Thank you.
She likes that. She's black and bourgeois. That's the name of the episode for Michelle. We came up with this painstakingly. I normally finish the show with a poem. Okay. Is there a poem you would like to hear me read from the book that jumps out to you from Heir to the Throne? If not, I can pick one.
Oh, I have to get it. It's literally right there.
You can get it. Go ahead.
Hold on.
Okay. All right, I'll give you 1 second. Matt, bring up the slate, please, for August.
Okay.
All right, so we had a little bit of change to the August slate. Next Saturday, August 28th, me and Matt Munoz are going to go toe-to-toe, head-to-head, and he's going to interview me. So that is going to change. I think the commissioner might drop in. Mr. Fishbeck might also be asking some questions. So that will be Saturday at 10 p.m. Thank you, sir. Whenever you're ready, Miss Pierre.
Okay, it has to be one.
You could do 2 if you really want to.
Wait. Okay, so everybody turn your Bibles to. Ready? Oh, you didn't number this. Okay. Sleeping with a Broken Heart.
That's from this book? Hold it up so I can see. Okay. I got to find that one. Hold on. Sleeping with a Broken Heart. Got it. Give me 1 second.
Or Wrecking Ball.
Huh? Oh, you want to hear Wrecking Ball?
Yeah.
What'd you think of Wrecking Ball?
I like that one. See, look, I have it like highlighted. Like if it's like this, like this, because I liked it. And then if it's highlighted like Like this. Wait. Like, where is it? Like this? Do you see it? That means I have a question.
What was the question?
I don't know.
Oh.
I would have to reread it.
You told me you had a whole lot of questions about the book.
I did, but I didn't, prepare.
I know you. Well, that's okay. I didn't expect you to.
Oh, no, I know I had a question about this one. Oh, no, I like this one, and I had a question. Oh.
Oh, my God. I got to find it.
You know what you should do with your book?
Which one?
This one? You should have, like, someone, like, what do they call that when it's
audio book?
Yeah.
An audio book. Got it.
Yeah.
Hold on, people.
I volunteer.
Okay. We talk about it. Now I got to find that one. Because there's two different versions, actually. I know this is enthralling for the people watching. It is.
Did you want a spiritual one? Is that why you picked one?
No. I had to
one
find the page. All right. You want to hear Wrecking Ball?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Get ahead. I'm ready.
me. Wrecking Ball. You came in like a wrecking ball. You swooshed in and broke up my calm. Of course, you damaged it all. We clawed, we changed, we jumped, never asking why it happened, never stopping to make sure if there was a setback that we could reset. I don't know that you can. Maybe you haven't and or don't want to. Maybe you're divided again, trying to be two people again. I fell under your spell, intoxicated, and now I'm lost. Feel like your compass is pointing away from me, destroying all that was, all alone, just me and my shadow. Enjoying what was awesome. Then you came around, pulverized it all, wrecked the shit out of what I wanted.
Amen.
Was that one you wanted me to read?
Hold on. Oh no, snapshot.
Snapshots. Oh, that's the next page. Okay.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do when I want you in my world? Snapshots of us together, on dates, dancing together. Well, more like you dancing on me. Long walks, holding hands, talking about dreams, watching you cooked, getting dressed to go hang out with our friends. Pictures of us making silly faces, taking snapshots of our future. But then I awoke with my camera in hand. All right, people, enough of this nonsense. Michelle, again, I thank you for coming on the show. You are amazing, wonderful, awesome. And I'll give you guys this quote. The purpose of psychology is to give us a completely different idea of the things we know best. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, click the bell, send the show to Michelle's friends, to your friends, so everybody can watch. If you miss it, watch it back, leave a comment. Thank you all for coming out. God bless and good night.
Bye.
Bye.